Oh yeah!
My name is
T-Rex.
Dino Story, the ultimate dinosaur rock opera. Hold on a minute, rock opera? Okay, this entire list is obviously based on my opinion, but here's where my personal bias really kicks in, because this is pretty much my favourite genre of musical. A rock opera is a collection of rock songs that tell a common story. They usually originate as concept albums, but sometimes turn into full-blown stage musicals. This genre is full of bangers, including The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie,
Ziggy played guitar.
Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf, Pink Floyd's The Wall, Chess by Tim Rice and half of ABBA, and of course my all-time favourite musical, Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds. Wait, I'm beginning to think I'm not the guy who didn't like musicals. And the granddaddy of them all, the one that arguably popularised the rock opera to the masses, was Jesus Christ Superstar. Now when I was about 6, I used to listen to this musical a lot, especially on long car journeys. And in the absence of any real dinosaur musicals, I would just imagine all the biblical figures in the show as dinosaurs.
What?
Pilate was a Triceratops,
I don't!
Judas was a Velociraptor, and Jesus was a T-Rex. And no, I don't know how crucifixion would have worked in that scenario. For 6-year-old me, the idea of a dinosaur rock opera would have been the single coolest thing imaginable. So let's see how this show stacks up to all those expectations. Dino Story was released by Mike Whitler in 2011, when I had just turned into a miserable teenager. The next year, Whitler began uploading animated videos of his songs to his YouTube channel, eventually rebranded as Howdytoons. I feel like everyone who watches dinosaur videos on YouTube must have seen at least one of these in their recommended at some point, and I'm here to tell you, they're actually pretty good. Dino Story tells the tale of a baby Triceratops named Terry, who was separated from her clutch before hatching, and follows her as she tries to find a family in her prehistoric world. This world is implied to be the Cretaceous,
We go back in time 100 million years.
but it's not super consistent. The Stegosaurus is the last of his kind, and Diplodocus is said to be an animal he knew from long ago.
Steggy, who is actually the last of the Stegosaurus, tells us about a dinosaur from long ago.
Except a herd of Diplodocus appears in the waterhole sequence. And Brachiosaurus is still here too, described as possibly being the biggest dinosaur. Even though the Parasaurolophus mentions Argentinosaurus, which is definitely bigger. However, I'm not going to nitpick the science too hard, as this is a pretty standard setup for fictional dinosaur stories. And there's some good stuff here too, like the pterodactyl chorus including the line, I mean, that's not why pterodactyls aren't dinosaurs, and birds are dinosaurs that can fly, but they tried at least. The narrative itself is functional. It serves as a decent way to introduce a lot of dinosaurs as Terry the Triceratops explores her prehistoric world. The music itself ranges from softer prog rock style
Walking through the forest
to harder, not quite metal, to occasional jazz, and at one point, reggae. On that point, I find it hilarious how both the Diplodocus and Brachiosaurus songs have the same comment about constantly eating. But for Dippy, it's bouncy and jolly.
No time for chewing, keeps on chomping. He would eat 2 trees while we sing this song.
While Brachiosaurus is treated as some sort of Lovecraftian monster. After Terry makes friends with a Stegosaurus and an Ankylosaurus, everyone is attacked by the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And boy, this is the best T-Rex villain song of the lot, blowing Back to the Pasts out of the water.
Oh yeah, my name's T-Rex. Watch out, or you
Here is where the concept album and the YouTube videos diverge, however, as in the former, the Diplodocus backstory kicks in.
This time, there's enough other dinosaurs at the river that our friends can get away without old T-Rex making them his lunch.
While in the latter, we go straight from the T-Rex song to the finale, which honestly flows a lot better. This finale ends with the three herbivores teaming up to take on the T-Rex. Although really, Jenny the Ankylosaurus could have done it all on her own, as she already did that in her original song.
Bang, bang with the swing of her tail, and they get away.
But I really can't be cynical, because I know that if this album came out a decade earlier, it really would have been my favourite thing in the whole world. My three favourite dinosaurs teaming up to beat a T-Rex, I couldn't really ask for more.
Based.
And the ending message is great too. Terry doesn't find any other Triceratopses, despite them being really common in the fossil record, but is happy with her new found family. But this isn't actually the ending, because Howdytoons didn't stop there, not with millions of views. So let's talk about Dino Story Season 2. In some ways there's actually more of a story in this one, in that each of the songs represents a plot development, rather than an abrupt pause in the narrative to tell us about a new dinosaur. The show opens with our three heroes hanging out with a herd of Parasaurolophus, when a natural disaster sends them trekking across a carnivore-infested desert in search of a new safe place to live. Wait a minute, this is just Disney's Dinosaur again! Along the way, they are accosted by Giganotosaurus, who seems to have forgotten how to pronounce his name since the last musical. Giganotosaurus.
Giganotosaurus.
And an enormous pack of feathered velociraptors, who pose a realistic amount of threat to a herd of much larger herbivores. Things really kick it up a notch when a starving Terry gets stuck in quicksand trying to reach some food, and Steggy sacrifices himself to free her. Yes, you heard that right, Steggy actually dies in this. There's even a sequence where he fossilizes and ends up in a museum, so you know he isn't coming back. Now, this would have absolutely traumatized me as a kid, but as an adult, I kinda dig the raised stakes of the narrative, especially given how jaded I am after watching Prehistoric Planet Ice Age consistently refuse to kill any of its protagonists. The story ends with a Troodon leading the remainder of the herd to a new oasis where they can nest.
You can make a nest and lay your eggs with the greatest of ease.
And I'll be honest, knowing Troodonts, I don't trust this guy.
Really, I am. I just want to help. I would never steer you wrong. You can trust me. I promise.
I think there's a nefarious reason he wants them to lay their eggs here.
Eggs.
Speaking of, Terry discovers a nest of abandoned Triceratops eggs and promises to care for them so they won't be alone like she was, which is a good way to bring the story full circle. Howdytoons is a fairly active YouTube channel, but unfortunately there's no obvious sign that Whitler is working on a Dino Story 3. Instead, he's been quite prolific at making self-contained rock songs about specific prehistoric animals, such as this Quetzalcoatlus video that appears to be a Prehistoric Planet Primal mashup with all the gore of the latter. So I don't know if we'll ever get to see Terry and Jenny's story continue. For now though, I would recommend Dino Story 1 to any parents with dinosaur mad children. Stick the soundtrack on in the car and let their imaginations run wild. As for Dino Story 2, I guess it depends on how they coped with Mufasa dying. As for the majority of my audience who don't have children, next time you see one of these videos in your recommended, maybe give it a try. Well, I think that's a good place to stop. While Dino Story is undeniably a proper musical, it has yet to expand beyond the realm of audio and YouTube. And when people talk about musicals, they're mostly talking about shows you can watch performed on stage. Now, as far as I know, I've got 4 more shows left to talk about, and each one has been performed in person multiple times. So stay tuned for whenever I get around to talking about those.